হাই ফ্রেন্ডস, সাবস্ক্রাইব টু অরিজিৎ অফিসিয়াল ইউটিউব চ্যানেল। শেয়ার করুন, লাইক করুন, কমেন্টস করুন, আর অতি অবশ্যই বেল আইকনটা ক্লিক করে দেবেন সব কিছুর নোটিফিকেশন পাওয়ার জন্য। সঙ্গে থাকুন, পাশে থাকুন, দেখতে থাকুন অরিজিৎ অফিসিয়াল ইউটিউব চ্যানেল।
In your journey to be amazingly successful, there's somebody in the room today who wants to, is ready to help you.
Welcome to Arjun Officials, in association with the Stadle, Presence, title sponsor, Innovator, meeting with Mr. Arjun Sen.
Nancy asked me, Arjun, once we give your life back, what will you do?
He has traveled all the way from Houston, Texas, just to be here with us. Arjun Sen, a renowned marketing expert, faced a life-altering challenge at the age of 32. Diagnosed with cancer and given just 100 days to live, he refused to give in. His remarkable journey didn't just inspire those around him. It inspired a powerful film titled I Want to Talk, directed by Shujit Sirkar, with his character portrayed by Abhishek Bachchan.
When you watch the movie over and over, you'll realize Arjun gave up. Raka rescued him.
It's April 28, 2025, and we're at the Stadle Screen Park. Get ready to experience the session through this video.
আমার পাগলামোর মধ্যে এই পাগলামোটা ওয়ান অফ দ্য পাগলামো। একদিন একটা ছবি দেখলাম, আই ওয়ান্ট টু টক। এটা বুঝলাম যে এটা অর্জুন সেন বলে একজন আছেন, তার বায়োপিক। গুগলে গেলাম, খুঁজলাম, আমার মনে হলো হাউ টু কানেক্ট দিস, অর্জুন তাকে কী করে পৌঁছবে। আমার কথা বলার ইচ্ছে, আমার ইচ্ছে ওনার সাথে একটু কিছু করা কী করে সম্ভব। তো সোশ্যাল মিডিয়াকে ধন্যবাদ জানাই। তো সামাও আমি সোশ্যাল মিডিয়ার মাধ্যমে অর্জুনদাকে কানেক্ট করলাম। কানেক্ট করার পর জাস্ট মেলামেলি হলো। উনি কিছু জিনিস আমার দেখতে চাইলেন, আমি পাঠালাম, উনিও দেখলেন, রেসপন্ডিং হলো। তো আচমকা একদিন হঠাৎ ফোন, আর ইনসিডেন্টলি সেদিনকে রাত্রিবেলা মনে আছে 9টা সাড়ে 9টা হবে, মেসেঞ্জারে একটা কল এবং অর্জুনদা প্রায় 1 ঘন্টা আমার সাথে কথা হলো। এই কথা বলার পর মনেই হলো না যে আমি এনার সাথে প্রথম আজকে 1 ঘন্টা কথা বললাম। আমি বললাম অর্জুনদা এপিসোড করবো, বলবো কোয়েশ্চেন পাঠাবো, আমি শ্যুট করে পাঠাবো। কোয়েশ্চেন হলো, এপিসোড হলো। এপিসোডটা যদি কেউ মিস করে থাকেন, চ্যানেলে আছেন দেখবেন, ওটা শোকেস বলে, ওটা দেখবেন। তাহলে অর্জুনদার সম্বন্ধে একটা ইনফরমেশন পাবেন এবং কী করে এগোনো ধাপে ধাপে। তারপরে আজকের এই ধাপটা অর্জুনদা আমাকে বলেছিল, অরিজিৎ আমি যখন ইন্ডিয়া আসবো, আমি যদি তোমাদের কিছু করতে পারি আমাকে বলো। তো আমি ভাবতে লাগলাম কী বই, কিছু বলা হয়নি সেদিনকে। তো তারপরে একদিন ভেবে বললাম যে অর্জুনদা যখন আসবেন আমি একটা সেশন করতে চাই, খুব ক্লোজ টু, নট ওপেন টু অল। যারা আমার এই আমি যা করি সারা বছর, অ্যাওয়ার্ড শোজ, ইভেন্টস, প্রজেক্ট এবং আনকমন জিনিসকে মানুষের কাছে নিয়ে আসা, তুলে ধরা। অর্জুনদা বলুন দেখ করো। সেদিনকে বললো অর্জুনদা আর একটা কথা আছে, আমি কিন্তু কোনো রেমুনেশন দিতে পারবো না। অর্জুনদা বলে তোমার কাছে তুমি 1% দিতে পারো, তোমার ছোটো ভাই হয়ে গেছে। থ্যাংকস টু অর্জুনদা, আবার অনেক অনেক থ্যাংকস, ধন্যবাদ আপনাকে। অত দূর থেকে এসে আমাকে মনে রেখেছেন, আমাকে স্পেস দিয়েছেন এই জিনিসটা করার জন্য। আমারও মনে হয়েছে ভালো জিনিসটা উনি যদি আপনাদের একটু স্প্রেড আপ করতে পারেন, তো এটাও আপনারা কোথাও না করলেই স্প্রেড করবেন। এই করেই পজিটিভিটি লাইফে স্প্রেড হয়। তো লেটস স্টার্ট দ্য সেশন।
Please join us in giving a huge round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Arjun Sen.
অরিজিৎ অফিসিয়ালের তরফ থেকে একটা ছোট্ট স্মৃতির উপহার আমরা অর্জুন স্যারকে দিতে চাই, অর্জুন দাকে দিতে চাই, এবং অরিজিৎ অফিসিয়ালের তরফ থেকে আমি রাজা দাকে একটু দিতে বলবো।
Thank you. আমরা লাইফে we get into a moment, একদিন বাদে, দুদিন বাদে, 3 দিন বাদে, we all of a sudden realize the power of the moment. 30th, I'm leaving Kolkata to go to Bangalore. That day when I would sit in the flight, I would realize not only how special this moment was, but this was and will be, I think, a once in a lifetime moment for me, because our Ma is sitting there. Our Ranu Kakima, who Thakur God gave me as a second Ma, because she always looked at me as her oldest son. I have 3 of my sisters here and my bhai. There are a lot of things in life worked because of the hard work. Like I remember one time I perfected the art of dozing off at this angle. She smacked my head, my jaws, chin still hurt. My Babuji, my dad, amazingly inspiring man. Okay. The only way I can describe him to you, just imagine somewhere in 1980s, he in Park Street envisioned and pulled off a drive-through locker. Okay. Just think, 1980s, like the only problem with the man was he was so freaking ahead of his time. And of course, Ma fulfilled this amazing role in my life. On one side, she always is a caring, loving Ma, but always was like an older sister to me. Okay, like her energy level today, if I am low on energy, I look at Ma, her energy drives me. Like I want to be like her. Like I was surrounded by people who I want to be. So as I started thinking about, I realized it was all of them together. The hard work, got to IIT, worked at Tata Steel, went to US. And what I learned was hard work always breaks through. Just to be honest with Sawashade, that in US when I went there, it took me time being a brown guy to get promoted. Others were getting promoted in 8 months, it took me 10 months. But once I figured it out, it was the hard work that was getting me together. But something I forgot in that process. As I started moving, attitude came in, arrogance came in. And by the time I am 32 years old, I sat down that morning of February to write down and say, I need to have new life goals because I have achieved my life goals. McDonald's was ready to hire me to come to US to run McDonald's worldwide. What I did not understand was arrogance or accelerated life has a fall. I had no plans, no idea what to do if I fall. And then the fall happened literally on a specific day, September 18, 1996. I was in a meeting. I was talking, I like to talk. And just to digress for a second, Amar Maiji, my Thakuma reminded me that my first report card in Montessori said chatterbox. But there was a pattern that was there, okay, that was there. So I'm in this meeting, I'm talking, and all of a sudden I realized there was a pin drop silence. And the silence was when my assistant pulled me out that I was spitting blood. I was taken to the hospital, and the moment I sat in the wheelchair, I realized in the hospital, I lost control. Unlike you, who is so brave. The wheelchair is a part of your body. You go everywhere what you want, but in a hospital, I didn't. Like to the point where I realized that I had to raise my hand to go to the bathroom. The person even decided whether the door will be open or closed. At the end of 2 days, when doctors for the first time told me I have laryngeal cancer, I didn't believe. I said, okay, I'll go home. And then my doctors explained to me that, Arjun, most probably you will not see Christmas this year. My problem was I was good in math. I took a piece of paper and did the math by saying 97 days if I include Christmas Day, 96 if I don't. So one of the things I have learned in life, which was a very important lesson for me, is always act, never react. The reaction at that point was I'm totally mentally paralyzed, emotionally paralyzed to sign and start a treatment. But then I thought, why do I start a treatment with these doctors who are giving me less than 100 days? Like that's a bad, like business world, we have this very simple saying that if I'm going to choose a team from all of you here, if I choose a team, I want to believe in people who want to go all that far. If I found 3 of you who says, Arjun, that's a wall there, there's 52 reasons not to go through, I don't want you in my team. I want Deep in my team. Deep says, Arjun, if both of us go and bang against the wall, we can make it through. I said, go Deep, you go first. So I left that day. But when I left, there was no plan. I was alone. For 2 days, I stayed alone in the house. 3-year-old, my daughter Raka comes in. And she comes in and first of all says, Baba, ki korecho ki? Ato moila erom kore. And I had really messed up the place. She opened the windows, we went outside, and she right away, no planning, asked me 3 questions. So we have among us a professor who had her first day at the medical college here, so fortunate. So think, she was like this baby professor to me, and that also is your daughter, and you know what daughters, when they ask you questions in a professor mode, what happens? 3 questions, random. What is dying? Are you dying? And what will happen if you die? Who will dance at my wedding? I realized that was the main question. I lied to her. I lied to her that I'm not dying. But what was important was I heard myself say, and that was the first time. I also realized there's a bigger picture in life. I need to be there and make the effort. Life was bigger than me going into a self-pity, ki hocche amar mode. So I started the battle. Okay? And as I started the battle, what I realized was I was not alone. Like what I felt was when I am alone, nobody helps me. The moment I open the door, help comes in. And that's one of the things I really want to push each one of you is, in your journey to be amazingly successful, there's somebody in the room today who wants to, is ready to help you. There's somebody. You have to reach out to that person, put your hand out, meet that person and ask for help and help the person. Like that is the power of life, okay? Me is strong. If you take the same me, turn it upside down, it becomes a we. We is where the power is.
This exclusive session is organized especially for the supporters of Arijit Officials and the esteemed guests of Arijit Officials and the Stadl.
When I was ready at a cliff, I want to take you through the micro details so you can feel what I was going through. Okay? I planned to go to a cliff. My foot is on the brakes. My foot is on the accelerator. And I'm still looking at the phone. Part of me was hoping somebody should call me. Okay? No call came. No text messages. I checked even the signal. All of a sudden, the phone rang. It was my nurse, Nancy. I accidentally picked up the phone and I hung up. And she got mad. She started texting me. And then I picked up the phone. Her first reaction was, how could you hang up on me? And I needed the scolding. Like I needed to feel that love to get through. And then she asked me, where are you? So I told her, I'm at a cliff, this, that, everything. And she said, Arjun, let me tell you 3 things. And I do not know, maybe I'm a very slow in life. Everybody in my life, my daughter to everybody tells me 3 things. Like there's something I've realized that 3 is a powerful number to me. So Nancy tells me, number 1, with your luck today, if you take a car off a cliff, it will get stuck. And people will tell you forever, Arjun failed in life and death. So as a branding person, this was a very bad thing to hear. Second thing, she says that outside is minus 10 degrees, and if your car gets stuck somewhere, you'll be in a tree for 2 to 3 days. Imagine, are you ready for that? I don't like the cold. That was not a good thing. But then she gave me the wisdom of all wisdoms. She said, kidding aside, Arjun, the adversity you're facing is severe. The headwind that is hitting you is unbearable. I cannot even understand the magnitude, but what I know is you cannot get through. But here's a simple advice. Even on the toughest of headwinds, all you need to do is take a U-turn, and the headwind becomes a tailwind. I'm an aeronautical engineer for IT Kharagpur. I guess at that point, it triggered in my mind by saying, she is brilliant. Of course, she was very kind. She said, Arjun, first, turn the car off, then you do whatever you want. I started crying. Fast forward in life, I really needed to learn. This is what I've learned, especially in life, in business world, anywhere you are. Imagine just for a second, I'm facing this wall right here. I keep staring at the wall while saying there is no path. Okay? Think the significance of a U-turn. U-turn is a slow 180-degree turn. In the process, all of a sudden, I realized the room is more than the wall. Room is you, all of us. That awareness of who else is there is the change that I learned over time. I have realized over and over again, that is the power. Like when you watch the movie over and over, you'll realize Arjun gave up. He gave up in the hospital. Raka rescued him. He gave up on March 4th. Nancy rescued him. And we'll go into the marathon too. I gave up twice. It's people around us who do not give up. My mighty used to tell me this most amazing 2 lines is, number 1, harayo na himmat. Do not lose, give up. Just second, Bishorjon around. Me being not that smart always, I would ask her to explain, and she would explain to me by saying, Thakur, God is never cruel. She would not throw you into the water if you don't know how to swim. But you still have to move your hands and legs because He would not come and rescue you if you're not moving your hands. Maiji always had the second line. I really felt that God would come and rescue you. It doesn't. So that's the part where as I started going through my journey, there was this point in life, I found this opening. The opening to run a race. A big surgery was coming, and I realized after that surgery, I may not be able to run long distance anymore. A few weeks before the surgery, I was sitting with my amazing daughter, Raka, who was 15 years old, and we had this simple conversation. Raka started it, I built on it, and the conversation goes like beautiful. But I didn't know the consequence of the conversation. Baba, you don't eat half a rasgulla, do you? Halam, na. Baby, you don't eat half a pizza, do you? This half turned into me telling you, so you're telling me I should run a full marathon? She said, Baba, let's do it. Think, a 15-year-old and myself, we decided to run a full marathon.
This evening turned into a power-packed motivational session by Mr. Arjun Sen, who is a true symbol of resilience and inspiration.
Me making hot chocolate for her by putting from the Madras coffee style. But as I started making it for her, the most important step on a handshake is pouring whipped cream on it. And in Baba's house, you could pour as much whipped cream as you want, that is there. Me being little dushtu and naughty, I put the glass I hold the whipped cream and I start looking at Raka. She's like, "Mama, pour." So I poured. Finally, it was full. She sipped and smiled, and I still remember the picture of the whipped cream mustache. Okay? Think. It was such a difficult day. I had every right, every reason to tell Raka, baby, Baba came back from New York. Baba needs to rest a little. We watch TV here. But me jumping on that moment, it let the pressure cooker release a little bit. Okay? And that's one of the things that are very, very important. If life is stressful, trust me, you can take a time out. That constant stress is what gets us. Okay? When I really got hit on March 4th, it was I allowed all the stretches to sandwich. There was a lot of time I could do these things in between. Like that's my big request to you is tomorrow will be tough, day after will be, but in between put things in. I also did something amazing that Nancy told me. When I told Nancy that I'm losing my hair, it bothered me. Nancy said, Arjun, I know you. I'm like, what do you know about me? She said, I have gone through your stuff in your room. I was trying to help you find something you look for. You don't have a hairbrush. I'm like, wow, good point. She said, you have combed your hair. Like, why are you worried about this? I'm like, wow. She said, you're a control freak, which means you are worried about your hair is leaving you without your permission. I'm like, good point. So Nancy said, when I went back to Denver, she gave me a hair buzzer. She said, when you go back, have a pizza party. So that evening, after the handshake moment, I got all my friends together. My friend Dadu was there, Dilima was there, Trey Hall, Ann Hall, of course, Raka. And we played a song from a movie, very favorite song of mine. I'll say in a second. And they all buzzed my hair. It was magical. I realized the hair did not win. My friends won. Go back to the picture. All these 5 people together, like that hair buzz moment told me, in my battle with cancer and in my battle with my hair, I am not alone. I want to take a little pause, but I want each one of you to give me a gift today. I'm going to come with a mic and ask as many of you as possible. I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable. If you don't want to answer, please don't. But I want you to think for a second and your phone, write down a very simple note. I want you to write down 3-4 words that come to you that gets you through when you feel like giving up.
I always face difficult situations. I will not say that this is the last thing I will continue to face. I've always say to myself that I've been through the hell and I'm sure I can get through this.
Wow.
This is what works.
Thank you.
Is it 1983 World Cup, Kapil Dev running back and taking the catch of Beverly or the last weekend when Indian cricket keeps and everything running? If they can win the World Cup after 1980s, we can also go ahead. Really? Thank you.
I think everything in this world is possible.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so this is my new baby sister, and she has promised to run a marathon with her husband in 1 year or 2 years.
In this year.
This year itself. Wow.
मेरे दिमाग में सिर्फ एक ही सेंटेंस आता है. Whenever difficult time comes, this too shall pass.
Brilliant. This too shall pass.
The words that I always rely on is, I know I can.
Brilliant.
Well, whenever I'm in a difficult situation, I know I have to do it. I have to be positive. I have to move on. Whenever I face any adverse situation, it's always, you can rise above and you will win.
I feel like how marvelous situation gets like if you always push through it, just carry on.
Push through it. Brilliant.
One letter and a sign. Although my blood group is O+, O positive, but I always believe in B positive, B+.
Wow.
জীবনের প্রতিটা মুহূর্ত আমাদের কঠিন ভাবে পার করতে হয়, তো আমাদের সবসময় পজিটিভ ভাবে চলতে হবে.
Thank you.
If you remember the appreciation which we have received before, we will again
come out of all the adversities, and we will live for those appreciation moments.
Thank you.
Weak resilience, adaptability, determination, courage, and perseverance. That adversity comes the safest to success.
আমার মনে হয় জীবনে খারাপ সময় আসবে আর অনেক লোক করে নাও করতে পারে, আমার জীবনেও করে, কিন্তু আমি ঠিক বিশেষ করে জীবনে দায়ী হয়ে দেখা তোরা থেমে থাকা দাও।
I think for me, it's stories that guide you through.
I just think of my mom, Baba, and then there is light.
Whenever I face adversity, in fact, I say that to myself every day that no matter how it looks, everything is always going to be hard.
See, during adversity, I'll say have patience, wait for the opportunity, and failures will lead you to success.
Courage to it.
Okay.
Just go for it.
Thank you. Let's do it and go for it.
There is nothing called adversity as such, and life doesn't give an experience that we don't deserve. Every experience that comes in our life is God's way. As Steve Jobs said, we can only connect the dot backwards. Anything that happens in life is a part of a larger design. Trust and faith in God is what keeps you going. For me, it's always like I try to keep that word impossible into I am possible. Whenever there's something adverse coming, I get to see the word konomoti hobe na. Because I'm faced konomoti hobe na at every sphere. Whenever I read konomoti hobe na, that immediately triggers the booster pump in me and I get going.
Thank you. Once you'll have a reason in life for tomorrow, trust me, the wake-up call is just a backup. You will be up. So now, one of the things I've learned in life is this concept called pass it forward. I remember when I told you I had to get $145,000 to go to New York for my cancer treatment. I had only raised $130,000 and already got a second mortgage. Like there was no other path other than borrowing with friends, and my values told me, based on the uncertainty in my life, I cannot borrow money from my friends because it's a wrong thing to do. In that moment, the CEO of my company, Scott Beck, invited me over to his office and told me that night before he and his wife prayed for me. Scott knew nothing about my ailment. Forget what money I need. At the end of the prayer, Scott put an envelope in front of me and said, "My wife and myself want to give this to you." I opened the envelope and there was a check for $15,000. $15,000, not 14, not 16, $15,000. I cried. I told Scott. Scott was calm. Scott says, life works in mysterious ways. Then I told Scott, I cannot take the money. He said, why? Scott, I don't know how to pay you back. Scott said, Arjun, you're not understanding. Your job right now is to take care of your health. You have the money, take care of your health. Once you take care of your health, then you pass it forward, which means not me, but someday, somewhere, with interest, you will help others in cash and kind. That's what life is. That's what I've realized is if you fall, put your hand up there, ask for help. But once you get up, who can you help? Because that's the way we become stronger.
And just like that, an incredible motivational session came to an end. It was a power-packed 2-hour journey with Mr. Arjun Sen, and everyone who attended left with a powerful lesson etched in their minds. After the session, a 30-minute interaction was held over tea, coffee, and cookies. A perfect way to reflect, connect, and share. And honestly, after that evening, everyone agreed on one thing. We want Mr. Arjun Sen back again. What do you say?